Hey, Scott from MyGrowthRings.com here once again. It's my garage shop, and welcome once again to our midweek follow-up, a show I like to call Stumped Q&A. That's where we answer your questions, comments, and cheap shots from the previous video. In this case, we were installing these ball bearing aftermarket guides from Carter. So the big question is, do they work? Well, stick around. I'm going to show you some video footage of what I just did, which was making some pretty straight cuts and resawing. But let's go ahead and get to your questions. So Larry commented that the Carter site shows 2 set screws. I was having a problem with the head of the guides rotating, and he says the site shows 2 set screws. I checked the site. He's exactly right. It does show 2 set screws. Apparently, there's been a change. Robert says that he has both versions of the Carter guide and the Carter blade stabilizer, which we'll use this weekend. He has them on 2 separate Shopsmith bandsaws, and that way he just leaves them set up. He said he tried wooden guide blocks, he's tried metal guide blocks, and so on, even cool blocks, and nothing has worked as well as the Carter ball bearing guide. So that's a great endorsement. Robert also mentioned that he had no issue installing, but just like me, he dropped that dang screw. Kay says that he likes his Carter guides, that he had the new table, but he didn't like the fence on the new table. So he went back to his cast iron table and used a magnetic fence. We're going to see that too. So that'll be in an upcoming episode. So be sure you keep an eye out on that. But thank you, Kay, for reinforcing that thought. I've mentioned before, if I had an aluminum table on this bandsaw, I would stick with it, especially if I happen to have the fence. If I had the cast iron table, I'd stick with it. I would not buy a retrofit kit. And we'll talk about that when we get to the magnetic fence. Tim said that he needs a new insert for his cast iron Shopsmith bandsaw. And I went a looking, and yeah, they're really expensive from Shopsmith because that table and insert hasn't been in production for 20 plus years. So there's a guy I found on eBay who is 3D printing them. You can pick up a set of 3 for about the same price as an aluminum one from Shopsmith and probably get it a little bit faster. Both Tim and HP commented that you should just file a flat on that shaft that's causing the head to rotate. Well, I mentioned that in the last video that seems instinctive to me. I contacted the folks at Carter and they got back and said, you can do either. You can either add Loctite to it or you can file a flat, whichever you like. I did add Loctite. It went like this. My local hardware store didn't have the permanent Loctite on hand, so I purchased the red Permatex, which is basically the same product. Here we go. That's crazy. And out it came. Yeah, just pop that against a rare earth magnet, and there is the ball off of that driver. That's hilarious. Maybe I should take that back to Harbor Freight, see if they give me a new ball. All right, probably have to cut the tip off of this. Of course we do. Put a little bit just inside the mouth of the hole. And let's rotate that a little bit as we go on. Anne asked, what's the best way to polish a table on a Shopsmith bandsaw? I asked, is it the aluminum table or the cast iron table? And then I just went ahead and answered the question. If you got a cast iron table, just like the jointer, use Scotch-Brite in WD-40 or steel wool in WD-40. If you've got the aluminum table and it's getting tarnished or needs to be cleaned up, there's a couple aluminum polishes that can be used. I'll link to them in the video description, but that and a Scotch-Brite pad will do wonders. That's what I recommend. Small Town Machine Shop says that he has the Carter guides like this one on his bandsaw, and he loves it when he switches back and forth between cutting wood and metal. He just finds that the guide is more forgiving. He also commented that he likes the fact that the ball bearings themselves are not proprietary. There's nothing special. You could buy those pretty much anywhere you could buy bearings. So if they do wear out, easy to replace. Bill asked, are those bearings sealed? Yes, they are sealed. And as I mentioned, easily replaced. Cam said back some years, ceramic blocks were all the rage. Had I tried any? Yes. In fact, I installed a set of ceramic blocks on a bandsaw that is at my employer's shop because their blade guides were just a mess. And this was about 15 years ago, and the ceramic guides were all the rage. They're made of aluminum oxide, and they run very cool. They don't wear like steel guide blocks do. They don't wear like cool blocks wear. And we have no problem. They're still on that saw and they still work fine. Surprisingly, even low friction. I was concerned about that, and there's lower friction there than the steel guides on the steel blade. So, not a bad solution if you're looking for something that's a step up. Ceramic guides are still available. All right, so I've drawn a line parallel to one edge, and let's just see if we can freehand stay on that line. And once I make this cut, I'm going to hold the board in place, and then we'll adjust our fence. All right, I don't know if you can see that from the insert there, the miter slot, but you can see I have I'm angled about 1/4 of an inch per foot of travel. So I'm going to take a pencil and just draw a line on the table right alongside the edge of that board. And yeah, there's all kinds of pencil marks on the edge of this table, and I try to remember to go to the freshest one. And we'll bring the fence over and then adjust the set screw. And that's going to allow me to cause that fence to pivot. And I should be able to move it away from the line and back to the line, and it should wind up on the line. It should stay there. And we got a pretty consistent thickness there. I'm not worried about putting a caliper on that. All right, let's make that same cut. Now let's swap the blade out for a 5/8 inch wide. It could be 1/2 inch. We tighten this to the 1/2 inch mark on this bandsaw. It will accommodate 5/8. We do need to move the blade guide blocks forward. Do that. And again, we want to stay behind the gullets for this. Got to bring the guide blocks, guide bearings forward. And again, we're staying behind the gullets. It looks like we are just about against that back block. So it's definitely maxed out at that blade width. Get the upper guide. Bring it forward as well. It won't need to come quite as far forward because the blade, as we push on it, will push back against the thrust bearing. So that goes right about there. Curious to see how the blade drifts on this one. Let's come on over and make a tight cut. completely different. This blade is drifting completely different than the other. So, for those of you who said, my Shopsmith bandsaw doesn't drift, I am thrilled for you. Again, we're just marking a straight line parallel to an edge, and then we'll just freehand cut. So this width of blade at this tension, you'll notice, is drifting in the opposite direction. So I will mark that on the table. Here we go. Previous cut. All right. Yeah, that's cedar. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. No problems at all. And gosh, that's it for the questions. Lots and lots of comments. I appreciate that. It makes this fun for me. I enjoy commenting back in the comment field and also looking forward to this midweek video. So appreciate it. This weekend, we'll go ahead and we'll install that Carter blade stabilizer on another bandsaw, and we'll see how that performs with narrow blades. That's where that one's really supposed to shine. So I'll see you then. In the meantime, make it a great week.